you, as a prominent journalist from this country, will know the answer to the question about who is initiating our laws. Who are the lobbyists that are lobbying those that are initiating those laws? Who is paying them? Are those lobbyists going to be required to all have to register their interests and say, right now, they are represented? A senior partner in a law firm told me a few weeks ago that he said, I agree with what you're saying. He said, I've got to tell you, he said, the firm really likes Brussels. He said, we write the legislation for our clients, we walk it into the secretariats of the Commission, and he said, and we schmooze it through, and he said, and a few months later it ends up on the statute books in Paris, Berlin, and London. He said, no one's even reading this. The fact is that in 2006, the year we have figures for, there were 407 laws introduced on the Irish statute books that came from Brussels. The average amount of time that each one of those was reviewed for was 26. We're not railing against the European Union. We believe in the European Union. We're railing against a temporary state of affairs in Brussels that we think needs to be corrected. And it so happens that most people in Europe seem to think the same thing. The European Parliament needs to have more power. It needs to have more power. It needs to be able to initiate legislation. It cannot initiate legislation. It's not even a proper legislature, sort of Potemkin Parliament. What is a parliament if it cannot initiate legislation? We need to open up the can, that is the Commission, and that process of initiation of legislation and regulation, and make it accountable so we know who's asking for these regulations, who's lobbying for them, who's paying them. The President, up to a 5-year term, unelected, your President. Maybe you don't think you need to be able to vote for the President that's going to speak for you and almost 500 million other Europeans on the global stage. Well, I think you should be asked one question first. Do you want such a President? And if you do, would you like them to have to ask you for a vote once in a while and run against competitors? I think if the people of Europe would like to have a President, I would like that President to be democratically accountable. Does that make me some kind of radical or anti-European or Eurosceptic? I don't think so. I just want the thing, and it's important that that thing gets opened up and is made transparent and accountable. And if we do that, I think we have a very strong foundation to make the Union legitimate, to make it strong, credible and respected around the world. And I think it's a platform that Ireland can do very well in.